Hey, welcome everyone. This is Eric Bobrow of the Architect Marketing Institute with my friend and esteemed colleague, Bryon McCartney of ArcMark. Today we're going to be talking about SEO for architects. Why? Because we share a common mission to help architects gain respect, attract better clients and better projects. And we found that online marketing, particularly through search engine optimization and uh, developing your website with great content, can make a huge difference in the type of clients that you interact with, the number of inquiries you get, and the health of your business overall. How are you doing, Bryon?
I'm doing great, Eric. I'm so pleased to be here. Great to see you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying working with you on this whole project. We did a little market research recently, and asked architects about their marketing and about the ways that they were trying to get out there in front of clients, and what challenges and things that they're interested in. And SEO, the idea of getting their websites or getting your websites, I'm going to speak to you, all of you who are watching, getting your website ranked so that you're discovered, so that Google recommends your website for people who are looking for an architect or design firm. This is just top of mind for a lot of you. And together, Bryon and I have put together a free webinar that's AIA approved for continuing education, or CPD, as well as a whole course on how to do this yourself efficiently, effectively, making a difference in your business. So today we're going to spend just a few minutes talking about some of the questions that are so important to understand about SEO, search engine optimization. So, Bryon, what do you say to architects who think they can do SEO on their own, or just see these ads saying, we'll put your firm on the first page of Google guaranteed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty ironic that as somebody who does SEO, I probably get about 100 emails a month from people offering me SEO services. So I know the pain. Everybody's getting these emails. There's a lot of agencies out there that are saying that they can get you on page number one. I like to say it like this, right? We're talking about learning a process, learning a skill. If you give someone a fish, they'll eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. But if you leave them to figure it out on their own, they're probably going to quit in frustration, and that's what we've seen. These agencies that are out there, they make a lot of promises. They say, "Oh, we can get you number one on Google." Well, what number one for what? Right? Most of these agencies, they don't understand your business as an architect. They don't understand your ideal clients. And it's really important that your SEO strategy is targeted on your ideal clients, and moving them in a direction to see you, to find you, but then also to see you as a expert in your area of practice. The point is, I guess, if you're gonna, if you want just quick results and you don't really care about the quality, that's one way to go. Go with an agency that doesn't understand your business. But if you're looking for a proven process and a proven method, that's what our course is all about. SEO, blogging, video, social media, it's complex, and as of 2020, there are over 8,000 marketing tools available, as well as 1,000,001 different how-to guides. So I believe most architects are really smart people. They understand the value of their time and energy. And yes, you could try to decipher what's out there. You could hire one of these agencies, and you could maybe get the results that you want. But we have put together a clear, concise, step-by-step course that helps you focus your time and energy in a very productive way. And it's been created working with architects just like yourselves.
So I know one of the things that I've taught for a long time is that creating helpful content on your website is exactly what Google wants and exactly what your ideal client wants,
Yeah.
rather than having your website focused just about you, your portfolio be a nice glossy brochure.
Yeah.
Now, Bryon, I've really been impressed with the way that you've codified this into a whole system that you call the expertise engine.
Yeah.
Now, the expertise engine is a process that is easy to implement and easy to maintain and sort of run month by month, and in fact, essentially forever. Um, I want to help people understand the difference between doing something like that, which takes a small amount of time, maybe an hour or two a month once you get going, compared to, say, online ads, which are certainly another way that you can get people to your website, where you're paying money to Google or Facebook or whatever,
Yeah.
and getting some people to visit your website for some reason. Tell us some of the differences between the expertise engine content marketing approach and these ads.
Yeah, advertising and online advertising and SEO are, they're similar in some ways in that mostly they focus on keywords or specific interests of of website users and so forth, or internet users. The thing about ads is that they can be really great when you're using them for specific purposes. So, for example, when you have a specific offer which is directed at a very specific audience, that can really, if you get that formula right, you can really make a lot of headway with ads, no doubt. But ads, in many ways, are somewhat more complex to manage. You have to really understand how the bidding process works, which affects your price. Each click is a cost. So how do you measure and monitor that? How do you measure and monitor the keywords that you're using and make sure that you're, tracking the right metrics in order to be able to see whether or not you're getting an effective return on that advertising budget? That's a big question, and most architects, this is stuff that people dedicate their careers to, is learning this stuff. So it's not easy stuff to really understand. And we've heard horror stories from clients who have tried to manage their own ads. And to be very frank, unless you know what you're doing, online ads can be a very easy way to kind of flush your money down the drain. Now, don't forget, there's also another factor, is that when you stop paying for those ads, they're immediately turned off. So they don't provide long-term benefit or value. They disappear once the campaign ends. SEO is very different. And I like to compare it to, maybe adding an addition to your home. You're investing in the long-term value of your website by adding high-value information to it. And if you do this properly, each article you add will help you attract new clients by answering relevant questions that they are searching for online. And that value continues as long as that article remains published on your website. But SEO isn't solely about ranking for keywords. By attracting those ideal clients and providing good content, they are likely to explore more areas of your website. Now, Google and other search engines, they see that type of activity as very positive. It's a sign that your site is serving an important role for your visitors, and that also helps you build authority with search engines, which results in higher rankings. And it helps build authority with those clients. Now, of course, our course is really going to help you understand how to create that long-term value that I talked about. It gives you a clear process to create valuable SEO optimized content and social media that's going to continue to work for you over time.
Yeah, I think that's very true, in terms of just the long-term asset versus the short-term impact of advertising. And whether it's pay-per-click advertising, where you're putting, something out in front of an audience on Facebook or Google, and people click and you pay every time, or it's preferred placement on something like House, where, in theory, you're going to be up above other people, which, of course, there are many others who are also paying for that. So you're not necessarily going to be at the top. You're just going to be one of the ones, somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But SEO has much greater impact in the long term. Now, there are many pitfalls that people can make when doing SEO. Um, Maybe it would be of interest for people to hear some of the mistakes that you should avoid, that you should be careful about, so you don't waste your time and money and everything.
Yeah, that's a great point, Eric. And we've evaluated more than 550 architecture firm websites over the past several years, and we have seen a lot of mistakes. The most common problem we see is that sites simply are not optimized. Architecture firm sites are simply not optimized properly for SEO. In fact, this was the case in 90% of the websites that we evaluated in our study. So it's a pretty significant problem. If your site's not properly set up to be indexed by search engines, it's just not going to rank well in those search results. So another set of issues we discovered is that many sites suffer from a lack of understanding about the best practices that Google and other search engines look for on your website. So these include things like how fast your website loads. We have a lot of architects who want those full screen images, and if those images are not properly compressed or optimized for for loading on the web, that's going to slow your site down. And there's other factors that can slow your site down too, like plugins and server speed and all these other things. Another issue was how well your site is optimized for mobile devices. Now, most platforms these days, when you create a website, it does do the magic behind the scenes to make it optimized for mobile. But there's still a fair amount of sites out there who have not updated their sites in recent years, and they're still not optimized for mobile. And then
I want to just interrupt for a moment.
Yeah.
Mobile, I used to think, who would look for an architect or research an architect on their phone?
Yeah.
How silly. It's a tiny little screen. Well, the screens have gotten bigger, and people are just more used to doing research. And frankly, over half, maybe even 60% of the searches, even for architects, are on mobile devices. So
yes,
if you've been one of the people who thought, oh, it doesn't really matter, it does.
Well, a great example is this. You think about it. You meet a contractor out at a job site, and they're speaking to the client, and they say, "Hey, I'm going to share your website with them." And where are they sharing it? They're sharing it on their phone. They're sending them a link. That client is most likely going to look at it on their phone. So yeah, your phone is definitely, our mobile devices are more and more important, and getting that mobile experience right is so important. I mean, I've gone to websites where they weren't optimized properly for mobile, and I couldn't read the text. I couldn't click on the links. There was all kinds of problems, and these are the kind of issues we want to avoid. A third issue that we found was that websites aren't secure. Now, this is a more recent issue that's come up, but there's a thing called a SSL certificate. It's a little bit technical, but this is a certificate that will kind of alert the search engine that you've taken the proper precautions on your site to secure information. It also helps to protect against, data breaches and things like this. So having that certificate now is an expectation of search engines. So if you ever go to a website, sometimes you may see in the URL bar, it may say not secure, or you may even get a warning on the page telling you that the page is not secure. And more browsers are doing this. So it's really important that you have an SSL certificate for your website and that you're taking proper precautions to secure it. But each of these factors, page load speed, mobile optimization, site security, each of these factors can contribute to lower search results if your website isn't measuring up. And to be honest, these are things that are really easy to fix. They're not difficult. So, but we've come across other issues too. With every client we work with, we perform an in-depth review of their existing website. One client he just wasn't paying attention to his website. He wasn't looking at analytics, even though it had been set up for him. And when we did an in-depth review of his site, we initially discovered he was getting amazing traffic. Like, Eric, I'm talking like 90,000 visits a day. And our client complained that he was never contacted through his website. So we knew right away something is afoot, right? We did a more detailed analysis of his site, and we revealed that someone had actually hacked his site and created a hidden page on the website that was being used for illegal movie downloads. Now, I'm not saying that had he had his analytics set up, he might have known that his site had been hacked, but it would certainly probably raise a question. If he was getting 90,000 visits a day, certainly something was wrong with his website. Either a form was not working or something. There's got to be a reason why nobody's contacting him. So had he known that earlier, had he been tracking that, he would have been more aware that there was something going on with the site. And it's just one of those lessons. Like, if you're not reviewing your website, if you're not paying attention to your analytics, or have a basic understanding of what's happening on your site, there's some nefarious things that could be going on. So these are some things that we have found. In our course, we're going to cover, in our course and the webinar, the free webinar, we touch on a lot of these things. So I think it's going to be really insightful for everyone. We're going to talk about some of these pitfalls. We're going to show you how to avoid some of these issues.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting when you talked about something that was hidden, like it was a problem. Obviously, the site had been hacked. There are a lot of ones that, of course, are less obvious.
Sure.
But I can just share recent personal experience. I had a heart attack recently. Now, 4 years ago, doctor said your cholesterol is high, you should take medication. And I basically didn't follow up on that. And 4 years later, I'm in the emergency room saying I'm having trouble breathing. That was a hidden killer. Now, if you think about your business, and I'm in good shape now. They put in some stents, which opened up the blood flow, and now I can breathe again, and I've got a new lease on life. Well, if your business has been suffering, hasn't been able to breathe well, is just not getting enough flow of new inquiries and qualified clients, and in fact, high value clients, then maybe it's from some of these hidden factors, or maybe it's just you already know you've never done anything beyond putting up a portfolio of pictures. There. So in the free webinar that Bryon and I have created, you'll learn a lot of these key factors, the things that you need to pay attention to, the roadmap of how to deal with it. And in the full course, you'll be able to actually get the step-by-step instructions and implement the fixes, implement the system so that you can rank highly, make sure your site is performing properly, and basically not have that to worry about anymore. And in fact, be blessed with, a new lease on your website's life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So to get more information on the webinar, if you haven't seen it already, go to SEOforarchitects.com/webinar. And if you'd like information on the course, SEOforarchitects.com/course. Bryon and I are really excited to bring this to you, and we'll be sharing as well over time additional materials. There'll be a coaching program as well as part of this. So for anyone who joins the course, there can be ongoing support available. So I'm really excited to work with you, Bryon, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to share today's conversation out on YouTube and make this information much easier to access for architects and design firms around the world.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you on the webinar. And Eric, I just want to say I'm so glad that you're feeling better. And that was actually a great analogy you shared there about these hidden problems and how they can manifest. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Please go check out those resources, SEOforarchitects.com/webinar. or/course. And we'll help you take the next steps along the journey and make sure that you know how to fish for clients in a way that will feed you and your firm for a long time to come. So, this has been Eric Bobrow and Bryon McCartney. Thanks for watching.